Oh, hello, YouTube. Today I'm the Naughty Library, and we are back again. I'm gonna read New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. I know, I don't know how to feel about it right now, but we're gonna do it. I think it was really fun rereading Twilight because it's been like 15 years and it was like I'm an adult. I noticed a lot of different things that I didn't notice the first time. And I'm hoping it's the same results for New Moon, which was my favorite book of the series back in the day. I don't know what that says about me as a human, but we're gonna read it. I got my coffee and it is 10:34 a.m. on a Sunday. So let's go. I'm gonna read a bit, check back in when I have thoughts. Okay. I'm back right away. I've read chapter 1. Oh my God. How did I not pick up on this when I was a younger person? I don't know, but the level of gaslighting happening here is frankly atrocious. Bella's like, I don't want presents for my birthday. I don't want to do anything special for my birthday. She's allowed to not want those things. It's her fucking birthday. And everyone's like, no, you're going to do what we want. We're going to throw you a party and we're going to get you presents and we're going to do all of these things. There's nothing you can do about it. So better like it. And it's, oh my God. Why? And also the second thing that doesn't really make sense to me, at least maybe someone can explain it. How does the vampire thing work in this reality? Because they have venom coating their teeth, right? So when they bite people, if they don't kill them, they turn into vampires because the venom's on their teeth. And they kiss a lot. And I'm not saying she's licking his teeth, but wouldn't his saliva have venom in it because it's attached to his teeth? How does kissing work in this world? How is she not a vampire from kissing? Maybe there's just never tongue, which is kind of boring, honestly, but I don't understand. Anyway, everybody's gaslighting Bella, and she's she just turned 18, so she was 17, 18, okay, whatever. She's a kid, she's a teenager. She doesn't know any better, and everyone's just gaslighting this poor girl and making her do things she don't want. And you know what? They have a party, and guess what? The one thing Bella didn't want to do was have a party. They have one anyway, and then Jasper almost eats her. So, maybe listen to Bella sometimes, guys. If she didn't want a party, you didn't force her to have a party. Your brother wouldn't have tried to kill your girlfriend, Edward. I feel like this book is going to be bad for my adult blood pressure. But here we are. Let's keep going. Okay. I'm up to chapter 3 right now. And you know how I said everybody is gaslighting Bella all the dang dong time? I think Bella does the same thing to Edward quite a lot. Their whole relationship is based on gaslighting. It's a problem because Edward has boundaries and Bella's man, fuck your boundaries all the time. She's oh, you need to kiss me and you need to cuddle me. You need all these things, which I get. That's part of a relationship. But Edward's Bella, I am trying my best not to murder you accidentally. Give me a fucking break. And she has no regard for how difficult things are for him. And I'm not trying to be pro Edward here. He's also 100 years old trying to date. Well, at least she's 18 now. It's weird because I think the writing has improved, but their relationship has not. So, I just don't understand a lot of things going on here. You guys being so obsessed with each other that you're I would die without you. And it's not even a figure of speech for them. They are actively trying to think of ways to, die without the other one. And I'm maybe you all need a break. This is too intense. Wow. All right, so it is 12:28 p.m. So officially it's the afternoon, and I have decided I need wine out of a Batman mug to continue reading this. There's good things and bad things in this book. I really think that Stephanie Meyer did a good job of writing the trauma of a breakup and how intense it can feel sometimes, and it hits emotionally every time. I get it. However, Bella is so ridiculous about this that it's uncomfortable to read. She basically just did nothing for several months, considering you guys hadn't even really been in a relationship for a whole year yet. together like 6 months. And when finally Charlie's a good dad, actually, okay? He's like a little clueless, but he does really genuinely care about Bella. And like when he's finally like, Bella, the fuck is wrong with you? I can't make you better. Like what do you need? Do you need a therapist? Do you need medication? Do you need to go live with your mom? Like what do you need to do? I don't even care if you're happy. You just have to be not miserable. Like this is like the bottom of the barrel. Charlie's begging her to feel something. She's like, fine, I'll go out with Jessica. And like, mind you, she hasn't talked to anybody in months. She just sits there like a lump, and then Jessica's like, oh, you're talking to me again, and like still goes out with her. And then Bella, god damn it, Bella, after the movie they're in a dark Port Angeles street again, you know, a similar street to like book 1 where Bella almost got like assaulted. And she looks across the street and there's like a bar and there's like 4 dudes outside of it. And she's like, those dudes look like those dudes that tried to assault me. I'm gonna go talk to them. And then when she starts hearing like Edward's voice from her subconscious, but she's like, I am an insane person. But it feels good, so I'm just gonna enjoy my own insanity. And then poor fucking Jessica, she's like, I'm not trying to get murdered tonight, and I have to put up with your crazy ass the whole time. I just wanted to get a fucking Big Mac, and like this is how my life is. So like I don't blame Jessica for being a bitch to her. Everyone is acting like a complete lunatic in this book, and I don't get it. However, like the writing has significantly improved, so I'm at a crossroads here. I don't know how to feel about things. I don't know, I'm gonna keep reading. There's still so much more insanity to come. So, you know, I'm preparing in advance. I figured I'd take a little break here. I am like 180 pages in, so about a third of the way through this book. Here's some things I have noticed that I noticed in the first book too. Bella is kind of the worst to Jacob because I don't think she necessarily sees him as a human, more so as a pet or a band-aid. She's like, oh, I'll hang out with Jacob because he knows how to fix cars and stuff. He can make these motorcycles I randomly got work because now I want to like put myself in danger so my own insanity can comfort me. She has a lot of issues. We're going to move past that for a second and just deal with the Jacob issue because that's the only reason why she decides to start talking to this kid again, because he has something of use for her. You fucking sociopath. Like, that is some serial killer bullshit, and I'm not living for it. Like, I feel like I need to start a Justice for Jacob campaign, because, like, this poor kid, he's also 16, he's 2 years younger than her, and she's, like, I guess she's pretty or whatever, and she's a girl who's, like, actively wants to hang out with him. Like, I totally get why he's, like, in love with her. And then Bella is just using him to make herself feel better, so his feelings don't really matter in this. She knows she's leading him on. She knows that she's acknowledged this, but she can't stop hanging out with him because he makes her feel okay. I'm just like actively losing my patience with her in this one because she's just the worst. She needs therapy, and I get why she doesn't want to see a therapist because she can't like say, oh, because my boyfriend was a vampire, they're gonna think she's delusional. I mean, she is, but not for that reason. Like I was saying, every time I check in, like the writing has gotten better. Like Bella is a much more complex character in this book, not a better character. Arguably, she's a worse person than she ever was, but it is hard to like be on her side for a lot of things, and I don't want to victim blame. But then again, is she the victim here, or is she just making Jacob into her, like, a lapdog? That pun intended. It's really sad. And I'm like, I feel bad for Jacob. Genuinely. Like, I understand him emotionally far more than Bella. And I never thought I'd say that. But here we are. I can't. I feel bad for the poor fucking kid. Someone needs to pull him aside and be like, bro, you need to move on, okay? It ain't gonna happen. And no one does this for him. I have read a little bit more. I took the cover off of it, so it's just a loose book. But I'm like 40% of the way through this book now. And we had a whole chapter of the awkwardest double date that's ever happened. Because Bella's like, hey, Mike, do you want to go see a movie as friends? And of course, Mike is like, as boyfriend, you mean? And she's like, no. And so she brings Jacob, and Mike and Jacob both feel like they're on a date with her, and she's like, I am so uncomfortable this whole time. At least Bella has fully realized she's using people to make her feel better. However, let's be real, sometimes you just want to spend time with someone and have company without them trying to fuck you. But like, these people can't like hang out with her as a friend. No one can be her fucking friend in this book. And she just needs someone who's gonna be like, hey, let's just go hang out and not put pressure on her. And I mean, Jake is doing that, but he still puts a lot of pressure on her because she wants to love him back, but she physically can't. But Jacob is just like, this poor boy, he's like, hey, I love you. And even if you can't love me back right now, I'm still gonna be here. Like, he is so sweet. And you know what? When I first read the Twilight series, I was always Team Edward because I'm like, yes, they're endgame, they should be together. That's what the whole series is about. But now as an adult, I'm like, why would you ever talk to Edward again? He sucks so much. And Jacob is so sweet. And I know he's gonna get hurt more as this book goes on. And is gonna make me want to like skin people alive for hurting him. He makes me into a villain. Anyway, I'm gonna get back into this because we're about to get all werewolfy up in this bitch and I'm kind of excited about it. Also, I have finished my wine, so that might be a contributing factor. It's about 2:45 in the afternoon right now. I took a little bit of a break, but I am on page 300 of New Moon, so I'm like halfway through this bad boy. I have now formed an unhealthy attachment to Jacob Black. He is so sweet, the complete opposite of fucking Edward, and he snuck out and away from all of his duties and his like secrets he has to keep to try to make it right with her. He didn't just abandon her in the fucking woods at the first sign of trouble. Like, he stuck around and he's like, listen, I'm going to make this work because you're worth it to me. And fucking Edward didn't do that. He went off to go sulk in Europe. Fuck you, Edward. I am so upset with him. These are fictional teenage characters and I am so mad. But of course, you know, it's like finally Jacob's all like enormous and like shirtless all the time because he's a werewolf around town. Like, they keep saying, oh, these wolves in the forest are killing hikers and stuff. And like, she has to wonder, she's like, is Jacob like eating people now? Like, she's really worried about it. Considering she went to the meadow and ran into a literal vampire who was going to eat her and she was too dumb to like stay away from. So like, I don't know why she thinks these werewolves that she knows as humans and likes them are eating people and not vampires who she knows are around sometimes and eat people. God damn it, Bella. I'm so mad at her. And Jake is such a good like romantic lead. It makes me want like Edward to never come back because like, why would she go after Edward still? It's just stupid. It's stupid and I'm upset about it. Anyway, okay, I still have half this book to read. And I know I'm going to get more upset as time goes on, but here we are. Hello, everybody. It's 3:34 p.m. I'm still reading New Moon, and I happen to be 2/3 of the way through the book at this point. And a lot has happened. And she also figured out, hey, you know all those nice people, you know? Yeah, they're not murderers. It's a vampire in town. And they figured out, oh, it's Victoria, you know, James's mate, and she's pretty peeved off about the whole thing with Edward killing her mate. So she's like, Bella, you just went to like top of the food pyramid for me. Like, I need to eat you. And now the werewolves are all hunting down vampires and stuff. And they're trying their best to keep Bella safe because it's always about fucking Bella. It's always her. And so now she's hanging out with the wolves and like the wolves are trying to like not have her get eaten by a vampire. And Jake and Bella keep getting closer and closer to each other. Like, you know, they're best friends. And obviously he wants more than friendship with her, and she knows this, even though, you know, she's not really in a place to give that to him. But she's finally hitting the point where she's like, I want to be happy, and this is the closest I'm gonna get. And maybe it's not really fair to Jacob, but I'll let it all out. I'm gonna tell him exactly how I feel about things. This is like the Kirkland version of love that I felt for Edward. But if you want it, you got it, kind of a thing. She's finally trying to move on just a little bit. And so she jumps off a cliff. And I don't know why she thought she could. Like, she hasn't been good at anything this whole entire series so far. But she jumps off a cliff, drowns and ends up getting saved by Jacob, right? And he's taking her home, and she sees a car, and it's Carlisle's car. So she's like, oh, I want to go play with the vampires. Just immediately kind of gives up on her whole, hey, maybe I should try to move on and do it with Jacob because, like, he's a good person. Like, just immediately drops the whole thing. Ugh, like, I am so upset. It's just such a waste for her to be so obsessed with these vampires. They are not that cool, frankly. Like, when it's 3 a.m. and you just want to eat your feelings, they're not going to take you to Taco Bell. You know who's going to take you to Taco Bell? A pack of wolves, and they'll order you extra. Like, seriously, Bella, you need to get your shit together. I'm so upset. I've never been more Team Jacob in my life than reading this book right now as an adult. But anyway, I still got a third of this book left. I know shit's about to get crazy, so I will check back in. Okay, it is 4:16 p.m. I am getting close to the end of this book. I got maybe like a little bit over like 100 pages left. I'm like 75% of the way through this bitch. Bella has finally decided, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna give it a real go with Jacob. And of course, that all goes out the window. Second, she figures out Alice is back. And she's like, oh my God, fuck you, Jake. And this goes immediately for Alice. And I feel so bad for Jacob because he's literally begging her. He's like, please don't go with them. Please just choose me. And she just fucking won't because she's like, you're gonna be here when I get back. She just takes him for granted. And it makes me hate her. She's just cruel. And I know she's not actively trying to be cruel to him, but like, this poor kid, all he does is be nice to her and like save her and like all of this good things that he has going for him. And she just can't give him the time of day. And it pisses me off. And it's like, I'm gonna double down on being pissed off because fucking Edward, this fucking guy who told her, I don't want you, and left her in the woods. And then I guess like one of the other Collins, I think Rosalie, called him up and she's like, hey, guess what? Alice saw that Bella killed herself. So sorry. Why would you call and tell him that? Like, have you met him? You've been around him for like over 100 years. He is the most dramatic fucker in the world, okay? You tell him something like that, there's no way he's gonna take it well. And as soon as he calls up the house and Jacob's like, Charlie's at a funeral, and he's like, oh, he must be at Bella's funeral and she's dead and I'm gonna go try to kill myself too. Because he looks up to Romeo from Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet is not an aspirational romance. I don't know why someone would think it is. So now Bella has to like run off to Europe. They're going to Italy because Edward's gonna try to piss off the like vampire kings, the Volturi, into killing him. And oh no, Edward, fuck you, Jake, and just runs up to Europe to save him. And I get it, she doesn't want him to die, she has to go save him. It's just so fucking dramatic, you know what I mean? So much drama where there doesn't need to be any. But anyway, okay, I have like, I don't know, around a quarter of this book left, okay? I'm gonna finish it. I'm just gonna knock it out, and then I will check in again. I did it. I read the whole thing. I read all of New Moon, all in one day. In the end, Edward just wanders back into Bella's life and is like, hey, sorry, I love you. And then Bella's like, yay, Edward, we're together, we're like fate or whatever. And just like fuck everybody else apparently. Like Charlie is incandescently mad at Edward with good reason. He's a fictional character and I am very mad at him too. He like destroyed you, Bella, and you just take him back. This is unhealthy. And then poor fucking Jacob. The only bad thing he's ever done is be nice to you, Bella. Fuck you. That's how I feel about Bella right now. It's like the end of Close Encounters where like the dad just leaves with the aliens, you know, fuck your wife and kids, right? That's how I feel about Bella right now. Like when I read this 15 years ago, of course I was on Team Edward's side. Like, you know, I didn't know any better, but as an adult, I'm like, dump him so fast. Get rid of Edward. Stick with Jacob. He's way better for you. He's a better person, frankly, than Edward is. I just love Jacob. He's just so sweet. And he gets shafted all the time. It's like, damn, Stephanie Meyer, who hurt you? Why are you constantly kicking this kid while he's down? It feels mean-spirited at this point. But, like, you need to make Edward suffer. Okay, he put everybody through hell for like 7 months. Mind you, 7 months he was gone was longer than their entire relationship. In the end, I think this book just raised my blood pressure and made me love Jacob so much. And also, I drank so much wine, so maybe I'm just emotional right now. But like, I love Jacob so much. And Edward can suck a bag of dicks. I just hate him. I didn't like him that much in the first book, and then the second book, I am just befuddled at how much, like, he sucks and gets away with it. And the whole thing, Bella wants to be a vampire so she could be with Edward. And she's like, Edward, I want you to do it. And Edward's so vehemently against it. He's like, okay, I'll do it, but you need to marry me first, which is a wild thing to say because she's 18 and he's over 100. He's like 110. So like, obviously marriage means something different to him at this period of his life. And still, I have to give it to Edward on that one. And I don't want to because I am physically repulsed by him. Frankly, becoming a vampire is a much more difficult decision than marrying someone. If she can't commit to marriage, why should she commit to being a vampire? You know what I mean? Like, I hate to agree with him on something because I don't like him, but like, credit where credit's due. Anyway, let's move forward here. I read New Moon and I read it all in one day, and I do feel like my brain melted this time. Just gooey brains. Let me know in the comments down below, what's a character in like a romance, for example, that you're just like, ew, why on earth would you ever get with this guy? I mean, there's a lot to choose from, frankly. So let me know in the comments down below, who is that character for you? If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access videos or a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.